Hi everybody, my name is Belly, and on today's video, I'm going to be going through some of my physical pieces of media and say why I'm getting rid of it. And this is just a video diary kind of like my personal convictions and why I'm getting rid of things. So I'm going to go from the most obvious to the least obvious. First, we have Tina Turner. So I am going to cover up the back, but as you can see, she has a very, very short skirt on in the back. And if you look at the front, actually, she's wearing fishnets, putting on heavy makeup, and wearing high heels. Typically, things that we think of when you're going to like a club or if you're like a stripper. The song, like the album name, is called Private Dancer, so stripper. Um, she has a song called What's Love Gotta Do with It? Show some respect. Private dancer, better be good to me, better like give me money and gifts. So this album is just, it's definitely just like, I may be a stripper, but you still have to give me all the best things in the world, all the jewels, all the money, everything, because I'm so precious. And it just rubs me the wrong way. Bye. The Notorious B.I.G. So you see a little baby, okay? You see a man, okay? But then you read the songs. I'm just gonna list the inappropriate ones. Give me that loot. So like, let's go steal things. Let's go rob places. Machine gun. Let's go kill people. Or, I mean, machine guns aren't bad in and of themselves, but based on the theme of this album, it's definitely like gang type of stuff. And I'm not saying that because he's black. I'm saying that because he's saying it. If a white guy was making songs about gang violence, I'd be like, why are you talking about being in a gang? Why are you talking about, like, give me that loot or whatever? That's also inappropriate. So don't come at me in the comments saying, oh, but he's a black. I don't care. I don't care what he is or who he's not. There are lots of men and women of all different colors who romanticize and talk about just violence and how good it is or whatever, and there's different kinds too. Um, so like Tina Turner and him kind of both have like the Jezebel spirit. Like, I gotta get attention with my legs, I gotta get attention with my money. Jezebel spirit, but for men versus for women. Next, we have uh, flip me. I'm assuming that means like crap, like I got caught by the cops. Next, we have juicy. So, like a woman's buttocks, I'm assuming. Me and my B word, Big Papa, as in like I'm the big dog, you listen to me. Respect, as in I'm the big dog, you gotta respect me. You are my B word. Um, who shot ya? So like, what gang person shot you? Like, who did this? An eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. So there's like 8 different gang related songs, and then there's 2 different um objectifying women songs. Yeah, it's just a very gross album, so I'm getting rid of it. Next, we have Lana Del Rey. So, guys, she has very provocative. Like this top isn't even that bad. It's just super duper low cut. You can't tell because it says Paradise. But I'm getting rid of this. And like, look how cute it is. Look how like pretty it looks. Like it looks so unassuming. But she has this one song called Cola. This song, throughout the entire 5-minute song, she says, my lady bits taste like Pepsi Cola. And obviously, I'm not going to be listening to that. She also has a lot of um, other songs and music videos that are not as provocative as Ice Spice Cardi B, but still provocative. It just, and she also romanticizes really bad kinds of relationships, like um, really old men, daddy issues, using men for their money kind of relationship um dynamics. So she like promotes this to girls and she romanticizes it. Like, this looks so cute, and then you listen to the song and you're like, oh, if you're actively listening. So that's gotta get rid of. I don't know what this is. I just don't want it anymore. Next we have The Day is Dark. I got this for um $1 at a garage sale. It uh it hurts, of course, but you are made wiser. You are made stronger. You'll always find your way out. Walk through the fire and into the light. That's what it says on the back. And the reason I have a problem with this book is because it has bad poetry. Okay, like this book would do wonders on 2014 Tumblr. Let's just say that. But this book also gives a false idea of love, that love can just be thrown away and it hurts, but that's just what love is. Therefore, you gotta deal with it. We also have like an eye and like a moon, and it says 322. I don't know what that means. I don't wanna. I don't know what that means. What kind of imagery that like is trying to say. Walk through the fire and into the light. So like it uses passages that you hear or like read from the Bible, but it never mentions God, it never mentions Jesus in a way that is good. Like in a way that's like, thank you, Jesus, or using the Bible as a way to inspire his poetry in a way that is because he's grateful for God and for Jesus. So we're gonna get rid of it because the whole I 322, I don't know. I don't even know what that means. Next we have Greek mythology. And you guys may be thinking it's fake. Like, why are you guys getting rid of it? Well, Greek mythology has adult themes. So does the Bible. Um, I don't think all adult themes are necessarily like bad. As adults, serious things happen in our life. Um, but the thing about Greek mythology is that instead of reading this, I'd rather read my Bible. So it's really just a division of my free time. That's mostly what it is. So I'm just gonna get rid of it. Next, we have these John Stanford pray books. Pray as in Prey, not pray. Not that kind of pray. So we have like um this guy, Lucas Davenport, he's a detective and he's trying to find the bad guys who are like murdering women and stalking them. And they don't glorify that kind of stuff, which is good. But the book just has like a lot of using the Lord's name in vain and swearing. And I also didn't really care for it. I thought it was a very vulgar book. They had some like locker room talk in the book. So I'm just getting rid of it because it's like, if I don't even like the book and it also has using the Lord's name in vain and a bunch of swearing, and it's just, what's the point in keeping it? Um, Next we have, so this is my second to last thing I'm getting rid of, Dexter. So in my Do We Romanticize Killers or Do the Creators video, I talked about how I bought this t-shirt. Like, I'm branding myself as a Dexter fan, and I'm also advertising the show. I'm paying to advertise this show. So it's like, I don't want to romanticize serial killers. I want to have like a forensic files type of interest in murder books and in murder documentaries and fiction. Whereas this comes across as glorifying. We have Dexter written in blood, and then it says America's favorite serial killer with a little like a butcher knife. And I'm just like, this rubs me the wrong way. Why am I wearing a shirt that says America's favorite fictional serial killer? It just makes me feel weird. And like the show has a lot of gore, a lot of sex scenes, a lot of things that I would not feel comfortable watching or reading about because the Dexter is based off books. Um, so that's another thing, you know? Um, so yeah, I'm just gonna get rid of it. Also, I got that shirt at Spencer's. That should have been red flag number one. Okay, guys. All of my Twilight stuff. So why am I getting rid of my Twilight stuff? Well, Twilight has um stalking. So Edward watches. I hate that her and I have the same name. Bella watches. I'm just gonna call her Human. Bella watches Human. Edward watches Human as she sleeps to make sure she's safe. That's weird. That even when I was a teenager, I thought that was weird. And then these books and these movies, Human, Bella, the character, she's basically not her own person until she becomes a vampire. She basically just does whatever Edward tells her until she becomes a vampire, because then all of a sudden that means you have autonomy over yourself. And she's like much more energetic, and she tells Edward like no, and it's just like, why couldn't you have done that before? And then the book has like a weird love triangle. I just feel weird reading about that. Like when, I don't know, it just like feels, it's like there's nothing explicit about the book, but it feels like on the verge, if that makes sense. And I just do not feel comfortable being a fan of Twilight anymore. My convictions have just grown too strong. So I also feel like vampire is a metaphor for teenage lust. Like Edward can't be around the Human, otherwise he'll like want to suck her blood, and he's so like bloodlusted or whatever. So it feels like a metaphor for teenage, yeah. And then in the book and then in the movie, um Edward literally says, I'm dangerous, I'm a bad person, I kill people, I stalk you, you should not talk to me, I'm gonna leave the town. And he does. And Bella, like Human, is like, oh, that's okay, but like like your skin is sparkly, and like I can change you. Just very very bad dynamics. Thinking that you can change someone, thinking that like it's normal, like it's not. So yeah, and then also in the uh, so for the DVDs, uh, wedding plans, first kiss, the kiss, love will take you, uh, love, death, birth. So these songs in the movie talk about love, and it's like having obsession and stalking and a weird dynamic and all this different stuff. That's not real love. That's not real love. So I'm getting rid of this stuff. And it's weird because like Stephanie Meyer is Mormon, the author of the books, and she said like she didn't want any obscene smut in her story, but I kind of feel like these books are like the start of Wattpad and dark romance books, which makes me feel like really weird. I don't want to be connected or like the link with those kinds of books. Or, and also the shirt, free advertising for this very, very, very secular show, like free advertising. Um, I don't even own a DVD player. And ugh, I have read all the books, and there's nothing smutty about the books. It's just. Let me read the back of the first book. About three things I was absolutely positive about. First, Edward was a vampire. Second, there was a part of him, and I don't know how dominant that part might be, that thirsted for blood. And third, I was unconditionally and irrevocably in love with him. So she's saying he's a vampire, which I think is a metaphor for lust. He is thirsty for blood, and then she says that she's in love with him. even after he says that I kill people, even after he stalks her. And guys, I kind of feel like the whole dark romance trend on TikTok really opened my eyes to how these books are being marketed like candy. And I'll make a whole separate video on that, but it's just so like it's just so like something Edward didn't want me to know, something that Jacob wouldn't have kept from me. The weird love triangle thing. Um Also, they talk about like Edward's glistening skin and like other weird stuff like that. It's like it's not smut, but it gets to a point where it's like, uh, so I heard it's like called softcore smut, like that kind of stuff, and that just makes me feel weird, guys. I want the books that I read. Not all books are for children, not just because of reading level, but also because like appropriateness. And I understand that people are gonna read books that happen in the real world, but I want me and my future husband and my future kids to not look at these books with disgust or to put our ideas or a false sense of love in our head. That's another reason why I'm getting these books. It's not real love. If I want to hear a love story, I can read Pride and Prejudice. I can read um, The Song of Solomon. I can read um, uh, like whatever else. And I have other books about murderers. I have a book about Columbine. I have a book about the Four Brothers by Dostoevsky. I butchered that. I have Sherlock Holmes. I have a book about forensics. Um, I have a book about Carrie by Stephen King. So there's nothing wrong with liking certain kinds of fictional media. It's just we have to be careful about what we read, guys. So, and I also want to read the classics. Like Wuthering Heights is a good example. Like Wuthering Heights is told from the perspective of like the maid, I think, and she's saying how toxic Catherine and Heathcliff's relationship is unfolding and how toxic it is. And it's a good book. It's a classic for a reason, even uh 300 years later, 200 years later. But this and this, it's not real literature. It's not anything real. Um, if I am gonna read something secular, I want it to at least have like some real literature and some real points to it. So, yeah, I don't really know how to end this video, guys, but I'm just gonna be getting rid of all this stuff. Um, yeah. So basically, just to sum it up, I think it's just the idea of love and God. I think the idea of what love and God looks like is very, very, very clouded in these books, even if they're not very explicit. Same with the albums. The idea of what love is and the idea of what God is has been heavily, heavily clouded by these books and these CDs and these t shirts and these everything. Vinyl records. So I guess that my advice is to just think about what you want God or your future partner or your parents to see that you read. Like, my opinion is that if I'm watching something, it should be like PG-13. It's okay to explore adult themes, but we don't need a smex scene. We don't need a bunch of violent gore. We don't need rated R stuff, like there's a difference. So I think just being a Christian, it's like, yeah, there are PG-13 things that happen in life, rated R things, whatever. But in terms of the things that we visually see and the things that we read, it has to be different. And like, yeah, the Bible has very gruesome themes, but the Bible also has a point, and the Bible has history, and it's a classic. The Bible is real. Um, Whereas Twilight is vampires and a metaphor for teenage lust and stalking and obsession, and it glorifies it. Unlike the Bible says do not glorify these things. So, yeah, that's what I'm getting rid of. And let me guys know your comment. Like, let in the comments, let me know your guys' stories with these kinds of pieces of media. And so, have an awesome, awesome day, guys. Bye.